Last time on Lawful Stupid.
We did a recap of all the things we had done.
No, that's the last time.
No, that was the last. You're trapped in a time loop.
No,
know,
the
Dr.
last time
Strange did.
I almost fucking died.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we went to go see the Artificers Guild, the Artifact Guild, and there was a cool, crazy fucking vortex thing that you tapped into with the loot. It was super. And then we Guardians of the Galaxy, and I put my hand on your shoulder. It was really cool, actually. I'm really pumped that I'm remembering this as we say it. It was good. You should listen to it.
Yeah,
that
I was
solid.
really impressed.
Yeah, apparently Sarah had never done that before, so we all almost died. But it's not a biggie, because we found it. We found where that fucking thing is.
We found where the Hammer of Darridan was. We were trying to track down the dwarf that we saw in the bar that had the Hammer of Darridan, and we tracked him down to the guild that...
The Nocore.
Nocore.
The Guild of the Nocore.
Nocore.
The Necromancers Guild. Or, as we called it, say Silence because it's easier to remember, the Death Knights.
Yeah, and you also found out that that's like almost a slur to them.
Yeah, and then we met an interesting character when we went there. What was his name again, Alex?
Oh, you mean Pansy Dan, the corpse fucker man?
I do mean Pansy Dan, the corpse fucking man.
The corpse fucker man. Because he might, I might be calling him a corpse looking fucker.
Name him for you. Like, that's...
He said some very offensive things to, I think, all of us.
But mostly.
I mean, they were towards you, but I was offended through you.
I think he very much was like, fucking dirty tiefling. Also, orcs are bad, and I don't like elves either. I think that's how I heard it.
Yeah, I think that's how that went. And it went a lot better than I thought it could have, because you guys were talking your way into some scary moments until you bounced out. So it was super good. I'm super excited about it. So we're gonna kick off this episode with resolving downtime.
We did that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we talked about downtime last time. We're gonna make some changes into what they actually want to do as far as downtime is concerned. So let's go ahead and go around the table, and we'll start with Atlas. What do you want your downtime to be?
Yeah, so very simple for me. So after the vision we had a couple episodes ago, seeing that orc whip Willow around and it caused some buffing to allies, I just want to experiment with that some more. So I'll be off in the woods or at the Guild of the Red Sun, using their training area to practice with Willow.
Okay, do me a favor and do an athletics roll.
Oh, sweet. 19 plus...
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's like a 23.
Yeah, you've unlocked the secret hidden jutsu that is now. So you spend you spend a week training in the Guild of the Red Sun in their fighting arena, essentially. And very similar to in that vision or in that dream, how you were spinning the axe and how you had seen this other orc spin the axe. Each day, you're spinning this axe, and you start using two hands to rotate the axe above you, but that doesn't feel as fluid. After a few days of using two hands and not really getting the speed you want, I believe the drow who runs the Guild of the Red... Or not runs the Guild of the Red Sun. That's incorrect. But John, the drow who you are associated with, he comes in on day 3 or 4, and when you're doing this spinning maneuver, he communicates with you, and you and him have a good rapport, and he kind of shows you the one-handed method to spinning a weapon. And so you spend the rest of the week spinning it with your dominant hand, which I would assume is your right hand, right? Like, he's right-handed?
Yes.
And so you spin and you spin, and by the end of the week, you're able to hear a hum on that spin. And you feel the last day is where you hear the hum, and you almost feel the axe dancing out of your hand. Like, you're getting it to a good enough rhythm, enough RPMs that it begins to kind of hop up and hover on its own. And you start to hear the hum, but you don't really get more than that out of it.
All right.
So definitely making progress towards mimicking what you have seen.
I imagine I'm just like a tiny dancer out there in the battlefields, and they're just like, look at him spin.
You mean color guard?
Yeah.
I don't care. Look at him. Just look at him go.
I love it.
To all the people that did color guard, we respect you. Devin doesn't, but we do.
Well, because I've got hit by color guard a couple times in marching band. Tubas for life. Hashtag Tubas for life.
It's a weird thing to hashtag.
Okay. I mean, we just hashtag everything these days. Rowan, what do you want to do with your downtime?
Being that the original thing isn't the original thing anymore, I will go back.
It's still the original thing. It's just what you guys want to do differently.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the guild, to Sarah, and explain the pleasantries we exchanged with Pansy Dan, and go talk to the person that she wanted to begin with. So really has followed myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you can explain to me if you can remember who she wanted to talk to, then we'll let that play out. Otherwise, it'll play out differently.
The one in charge.
I'm going to give your memory. Your memory will get... If you can remember his name, I will give you advantage on your roll. No helping, team.
It was...
Only said twice, so...
Actually, yeah, I don't remember.
Vanessa.
Even the notes.
So we're just going to do a normal roll.
Okay.
Then.
I've come to speak to Vanessa.
Who,
And go ahead and just roll a charisma check. Just a default charisma check. I don't think there's a persuade. You're not trying to persuade. You're just kind of
Well, that's a 19.
That's pretty good. So you go back and you talk to Sarah after that first day of kind of checking out the Guild of the Nocore, making sure you can keep an eye on them. You decide to go back, and you and Sarah talk about the Hammer of Derridin and the meaning of artifacts. And one of the things you notice about her in those first couple days that you guys are really talking about the artifacts, that she is enamored with you. Not in a way that is like she is in love with you. She looks up to you like you're a hero, like you're like a legend, right? Feeding into that reclaimer bit.
Makes sense.
And she's very excited about that. And you guys spend the week together really talking. And so I'm going to give you, which is essentially a relationship point with her. And you're going to be able to use that to call in a favor. You can't use that to mold something she wouldn't normally do. But you can have her do a favor, or you can have her push her own boundaries, but you're going to have to persuade her or force that. But
could we just go grab that book for me? Like I can't go there.
It could be something that simple.
Yeah.
It could be I mean, it's a very flexible thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's definitely not a D&D mechanic. It's something we homebrew here. It's something I stole specifically from Chainsaw. Because I love it. It's a really cool concept. So you have a relationship point with her, and because that's different than your relationship going up, you have a tangible point you can use.
That is different than my thing.
Well, yeah, it is different than your thing, but
I'm saying it's good. I like the way you're doing it different.
Yeah, it's inspired by your thing. How about that? That last day, Arcanist Quincy returns to the Arcanist Guild. Writes it down, scribbles down that note.
I remembered thinking because Bleach.
Not where I was actually pulling the root of that from, but yeah, you're right. Arcanist Quincy comes back, and you guys try to talk to him, but he's in such a hurry. He bolts up that staircase and into that room, and doesn't give you guys much time. He hears you talk about the Hammer of Derridin, and still politely but hurriedly dismisses you.
Interesting.
So that's how you spend your week. And last, but certainly not least, Kristoff.
Yes. So Kristoff initially is going to try to stake out the Guild of Nocore to make sure this dwarf can't leave, and also just to give mean mug. But he reflects on that first day and realizes that he's no longer just a person who solves their problems by destroying those who have affronted him. And he's part of the Architects Guild now, and they're all about creating. So he wants to come up with a creative way to solve this issue rather than a destructive one. And so he's going to go back to the Architects Guild and confer with Wendy.
Okay, so what do you want to do? So when you say confer, is there a specific thing you want to do?
I'm literally going to her like she's my teacher, and I'm like, hey, I've come into this issue. I don't want to feed my old habits anymore. I want to be better. How would an architect address this issue? Okay.
Do me a favor and roll an Arcana check.
I'm going to roll this the first time I've ever done a roll on the podcast with the Dice Tower. That's a 15 plus my intelligence, or rather my Arcana is a 2, so 17.
Okay. So you spend the week with her training. She spends a lot of one-on-one time with you, and you learn through this that she doesn't normally do this. There are other people that teach basic classes, but she has brought you to the place that it all began for you, which was that open pedestal and her hovering before you. And she begins training you. And she begins teaching you how to use your innate abilities as a sorcerer to try and unlock the hidden aspects of the world, the architects. And you learn a lot about what she calls, and I believe this would be the first time your character has ever heard of it being a sorcerer and all, the arcane torrent. She talks a lot about that. She talks about how thick the world is. Excuse me, that was terribly started sentence. She talks about how the world is full of the arcane torrent and how thick the magics are around you, but most people never find a way to like reach in and activate it. And so she teaches you the math behind that. She shows you how to make a lamp right in front of you, and you start building those pieces together, and you start making items small. Like at first it's copper wire, right? You make copper wire out of thin air, and the first 4 or 5 days, every time you make it, you bend it, and then when you stop concentrating it dissipates. It disappears. It doesn't hold. And by the end of the day, you make a small, or by the end of the week, you're able to make a small ring of copper. And so you have a small ring of copper, and you make it, and she just looks so proud, knowing where you're coming from and what you're trying to overtake. And when you're done, you're exhausted that last day, and you're expecting wholeheartedly this copper ring circle that you make is just going to dissipate, like every other piece of copper you've made this week. And it stays. It stays. And you made it, I don't want to like speak for you, but you maybe subconsciously you made it the size of a bracelet. But you have this bracelet-sized ring of copper wire that you come out of the week with.
I love where your head's at, because I was already like, I'm wearing this I'm going to get some thread. I'm going to wear this as a necklace, but bracelet is better. So
now you have this bracelet, and while it's not useful to you per se as a sorcerer, you know subconsciously, because it's a D&D mechanic, that for using architect spells, e.g. wizard spells, in the long run, this will be your focus. This bracelet will be your focus.
That's very cool. I do have a question to ask, kind of metagame.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about the arcane torrent, and super interested in that, like that. How does that relate to the plane of magic from like standard book D&D? Is there any relation at all, or is it completely different?
I don't have any real relation built in the sense that I didn't tie them together on purpose. I'm sure they are paralleled by a lot of different things, and that's mostly because I don't have a studious version of the plane of magic. I don't have memorized all the things, all the properties that are in that. It's not like a realm you could go to, right? Like the realm of fire, the plane of fire, and shit like that. It's more the inspiration from it is a version of Mako from Final Fantasy VII. but instead of it being lifeblood in the planet, it's like in the air. It's literally what the world is made of, like the universe is made of, and that's how they are able to build things from nothing. They're able to tap into the arcane torrent.
So, in like standard D&D lore, and I could be wrong on this, but I think this is how it works. Yeah. There's like these different planes of existence. There's like our material plane where things happen, and then like 3 layers above that, there's the magic plane. Yeah. And all the elemental planes within it. That when people cast magic, they literally are tapping into that elemental plane, and they're drawing energy out from it to cast arcane spells. Yeah. And is this arcane torrent kind of like that, where it's coming from someplace else, or is it just innate within our world?
It's for the purposes of this homebrew, it's innate in all the worlds, like all the planes. Like it is what binds all the planes together. Like if something were to interfere with arcane torrent, it would affect magical properties across all the planes. Got it. And so I like to imagine that like the plane of magic would be just arcane specifically, right? Like pure magic, not like fire focused or anything like that, just pure magic.
So it's Yggdrasil.
I think if somebody had
it's Yggdrasil.
Little Yggdrasil. Little leafetry from Final Fantasy.
No, god damn it. Gotcha. From Norse mythology. It's
I know. But leafetry from Final Fantasy IX is based on Yggdrasil from Norse mythology, which is based on the idea from Mako from Final Fantasy VII, which is based on the life, which is based on Sephiroth, which are the
there's a lot
Buddhist
of like
chakras.
Narratives that have that, just like most magical ley lines and stuff like that. I just like the visual that you get when you hear arcane torrent, or at least when I hear
like
arcane torrent. Right?
It sounds good, and I'm into it, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
No, I mean this is I don't mind explaining those ideas. Obviously, that's not character knowledge.
But I know a little bit now, right?
Yeah, you do. You know that arcane torrent exists. You can see it in the world. You can't see it on command, right? But you can look for it now. Now that you've done this training, that's what you walk away this training from. And Shane, like, not to say this on the podcast, but like it's a stepping stone for what you want to do.
Don't even worry about it.
Nope. All right, cool. I didn't want you to like feel bummed out.
I got it.
He's picking up what you're laying down.
You have the ability. Not only do you have that casting focus, you have the ability to look for the arcane torrent in the world. So that's what you guys do. When you guys split, where did you guys decide to meet back up? If you did.
We decided to meet back up at the Crimson Salamander for breakfast, as we do every Sunday morning.
It's a tradition.
All right.
It's actually every Sunday afternoon is when we eat breakfast. Because we call it breakfast, but we know it's not really.
Yeah, you guys are back at the Crimson Salamander, at least that's the slang term, colloquially known as the Crimson Salamander.
We say that word so much, and none of us know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, colloquially.
Colloquially.
Well, to be fair, I don't have real teeth. Okay, so like pronunciation is just like already hard for me, anyways. Now
it's colloquially.
Like, words that I could say, I can no longer say effectively.
That's interesting because that's the first time I've seen false teeth used as a crutch.
Well, that's true.
That's where we live in.
It's true. It's the reason you now hear a slight lisp when I speak, which is super fun.
I think me and all the listeners agree you sound better.
Yeah. It's kind of distinguished.
Compliment?
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't.
It's compliment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it better. I'm sorry.
Double-handed.
No, it was open-handed. It was
backhanded. Double-handed. Backwise. So yeah, you guys are there. And one thing you notice is the barkeep that you guys normally have is not there that day. When you guys meet up, and so you're eating breakfast at your table. Just to say, like, yeah, you guys are eating breakfast.
No. So,
Kristoff, what did that old man? Did he ever come out, or did the dwarf ever come out?
I had some time to think about it, and I left.
Oh, like when? When did you leave? Like
within 24 hours.
Well, why the sudden change of heart or mind? Or
well, I've already said it once, but I'll say it again. I decided to take. I'm a member of the Architect Guild now. I'm sure you know that, and I've decided that instead of facing my problems with destruction, I was going to attempt to take a more creative stance. So I went to seek my life coach, Wendy, and I asked her to teach me some things, and she did, and I kind of got some perspective, and I didn't really come anywhere closer to solving the issue of getting Darren's hammer, but I am, in a really good place right now.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a nice sentiment.
I'll pat him on the back and say, well, welcome to the Good Guy Club. I'm so proud of
You're
you.
doing real great for yourself. This guild's really turned you around.
It has. And also, I got this dope bracelet. It's made of copper. I made it out of nothing.
Ooh, can I have one?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
I know how to.
They'll be our friendship
I know
bracelets.
how to make
Let's
them,
do it.
and I will make 2 of them right now.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll me 2 Arcana checks.
That is a 6,
Okay.
and that is a gentleman's unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. Do you have a coin by chance? Anybody?
I have
Maybe you?
several.
I mean, I guess you could use a die for.
I have several
honoring.
adventure-based coins.
Okay, so just,
in a
just do me a
pouch.
favor. Flip a coin.
Uh-huh.
And tell me. Say heads Devin, tails Alex, and you let me know what you get. Oh, that's a sweet coin.
Yeah, I have a lot of really cool adventure coins. Anyway,
So heads Devin, tails Alex. Why don't you just go ahead and flip that coin for me? Tell me what you get.
I'm gonna say this is heads and this is tails.
Okay, perfect.
It is tails.
Okay, perfect.
I knew it.
So you build in front of
I don't know
them.
who tails is.
So it's Alex. So you build this ring of magic in front of them, and they see, just like they saw with Jesse, they see the math pop up. They don't really understand the numbers. They're small, and they're not necessarily in a language they can even read, but they're numbers forming around this blue light as you're bending it and molding it. And they can see you sweating as you're doing that, as you're building that first one. And you build it, and you form it, and it almost like cools, if that makes sense. It's almost like you see some steam come off of it. It's not hot to the touch, but you can see there's like pressure pulling it from the arcane torrent into this world. And you build this copper ring, and you hand it to Atlas. And then you build another one, the same thing. You get this blue light, and you're bending it, and you're twisting, and you're seeing the numbers. And again, to guys, Atlas and Rowan, this isn't really making a whole lot of sense to you, but as you're building the second one, Kristoff, you're starting to see the formula, right? And so when you're tying it together, tying is not a good word, but when you're fusing that circle together, you instead of just putting it together and letting the arcane torrent build itself or fuse itself, you kind of weave it around itself. And then when it steams and pops back into the world, you see it, and you hand it over to Rowan. And so now you both have copper bracelets.
Oh, this is just the
They're
best.
beautiful. We got matching bracelets. We're friends forever.
Yes, I need 10 hard biscuits.
Yeah, you are exhausted. and
I am
hungry.
just... Please put 10 hard biscuits into my mouth and move my jaw up and down.
I do that.
I'm kidding. That's fine. I'll eat them myself.
I didn't know.
I'm very tired.
It's
It
magic.
worked very
We
hard.
I don't know how it works.
Well, I'm
You
just
literally
very
do it
proud.
every day. I've seen you, but that's...
You don't know how it works. I just do it. It's magic.
This hammer. What do we have any leads?
Uh-huh.
What's it called?
The last known status was at the Guild of the Nocore.
I know that.
You
I was
asked.
there.
That was our lead.
I didn't know for that day if you saw anything happen the day you stayed.
I am recalling now whether or not I saw anything unusual that day.
You did. You did not see anything on the exterior of
I
that
saw
guild.
nothing on the exterior of that guild. I saw nothing unusual.
Next
Well-
time that I know that's a puppet situation, I can't wait for that. I'm gonna make it.
I love it when you're the voice in our heads.
Me
Our
too.
natural
I forget
narration.
that- I love the idea that when I narrate those and you guys remember and or do history checks that I'm like puppeting, that's gonna be super fun. Though I love when you guys take my words and twist them too. That's also great. So yeah, you guys are at this tavern. You've spent a week training with your guilds or working on your, color guard skills. What do you guys want to do next?
All right, boys, what's the plan?
Do you have a plan? Nope.
Well,
Great.
No,
Okay.
we have. I have. a
Go
plan.
ahead.
Frankly, we've gotten a little bit distracted. We've done some different things. We searched for a hammer. We may or may not have blast from the past. But really, I think we need to probably report back to Oxbane, because that's why we came here.
I believe, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little homesick as
That
well.
place.
I mean, the Magister's waiting for our report from the ambassador, like from the consul. Like, that's why we came to
Is
Eurie.
it? Oh, God, I forgot.
It was. If you
I
recall,
don't.
yeah.
Shit.
If you pretend to recall.
I don't. So many things have
I
happened
wanna go
here.
home.
The fellas call her charm 'cause they say her sweetness shows.
They call my sister Trouble 'cause it follows where she goes. Together we're a double dose of sweetness, sass, and pluck. We're the sisters Charm and Trouble, and we're here to sing and...
Charm and Trouble on nerdsmith.org or wherever you download your podcasts.
Because nobody likes
a late wench or an early lad.
Okay. Do you guys want to do anything in the city before you go? Do you want to check in with your guilds before you bounce out?
Yeah, we
gotta
gotta
talk
check
about
in.
that.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right. So, Kristoff, you go back and you run into Wendy. She's out in the main lobby, the single lobby that is the Arcanist Guild, and she's sitting cross-legged, almost like it looks like she's meditating. Right? She's got her eyes closed. She's got her hands on her lap, and she's sitting there quietly.
I'm going to come and I'm going to sit kind of like across from her, like quietly, like not to really interrupt. And I'm just going to wait for her to open her eyes.
Do me a favor, do an Arcana check.
I would love to. That was a big boy's 18.
When you sit down and you kind of relax and you let yourself feel everything, you can see this avatar behind her in the arcane torrent, right? It's this form standing on 2 feet. It's got horns. It's almost a shadow behind her, except for it's like the wind is being blasted against it. The form is being rippled back and forth. And right as you open your eyes, because you feel that, right? You feel that in your mind eyes. You open your eyes to look for it. You see it in the arcane torrent, and its head turns and looks at you, and it vanishes. And Wendy opens her eyes and says, "Oh, Kristoff, what are you doing here?"
I didn't want to disturb you.
Oh,
I came
no
here
bother.
to let you know that I had to leave town for some time, but Wendy, what was that thing?
What was what thing?
I saw in my mind's eye inside of the torrent, I saw a large shadowy figure standing behind you as you meditated.
And as a point of contention, it felt like a shadow, but it was blue, right? It was the color of the arcane torrent.
Fair enough.
No, just so everybody's picturing the same thing. I didn't describe that well enough. And she looks at you and she sighs and she says, "There's something not right. Every time I tap into the torrent, it feels different. I can't quite explain it, and when our master comes back, I will ask him if he has felt it, but I've seen the same shapes, and I don't know what they are. It's not often. Normally when you see a shape like that, it's random, like a dragon or a wolf or a werewolf. Right. You just pick up on shapes. The arcane torrent is a part of every magical being, but I've never seen anything like that."
It seemed to be a sentient form. I mean, it noticed me noticing it, and it looked at me.
Yes, that's probably why I woke up. I don't think it noticed me.
That's unnerving.
I think it's gonna be fine. Your new, it could have been, you could have seen something different than actually what happened.
What does it look like when you see it?
It's a giant form, and it's on two-legged. It's got big horns.
Sure,
it's
big
quite
horns.
Tall.
That's kind of what I thought was the big horns. Just hey, shot in the dark. It's not one of my infernal ancestors, right?
I don't know. I only
probably not.
I doubt it, but
It's not some awful hell lord.
We haven't seen any full-blooded demons on Goron
Since the Arcane Wars.
Yeah, probably. Not publicly, at least.
Right.
What did you come here for, Kristoff?
I'm sorry, Wendy. I've distracted you and distressed you. I'm leaving town for some time. I came here initially on a mission from the Magister of Oxbane, and I have to conclude that business. So I must journey forth there again.
Okay. And I assume you'll be returning to continue your training, yeah?
It is my deepest hope and desire.
Okay, wait here. And she stands up, and you see her pull out a small gold bell. Like a small, like, you know those, not like a bell that you would ring with a little handle. It's like just the bell, right? There's no handle attached to that.
Like a sleigh bell, almost? Like a jingle bell
almost.
Disconnected from
but there's, and so instead of having a stick, she's got the little ball.
It's like a ball shape.
Yeah.
And
she rings it. And when she rings that, you see a door open. Or a door appear, and she...
Now, if I may, Gwen, just from my mental picture, when I think of the Architect's Guild, it's one big empty room.
Yes.
And people are just magicking doors to all the other places that exist within the guild.
Yeah,
like I have a card that magics me to my room.
Yeah, most people are doing it on the wall, right? They're being respectful of the center of the room. Not her. She does it, and there's like this golden line that
this
forms
Scott Pilgrim Chalk Zone fucking door out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly, just like that. And so she says, I'll be right back. And she steps into her door, and she leaves it open, and you look in, because I think you're curious enough to look in.
I'm curious like a cat. That's what my friends call me, Whiskers.
And you see, it is humongous in there. You can see that her door leads to a garden, and further in that garden is a house. And she walks past through this garden and into the house, and in a few minutes she returns and she hands you a book. And she says, I don't want you to get behind, but please don't let anything happen to that book.
I will guard it with my life, Wendy. Maybe not my life. Guard it. Maybe I will guard it well.
And she hands you a scroll, and she says, if something happens, you can use that to contact me. So she has handed you a book that's called Advanced Mathematics.
Oh, hooray. What a riveting read this shall be.
And the Arcane Torrent.
Alright, the second part's pretty cool.
And then the other thing that she hands you is a spell scroll of sending.
And
if
Wendy,
it's anything like his whisper his name.
God, he stole my fucking thunder.
It's no
I was
good.
like, if you need to contact me, all you have to do is whisper Kristoff Shindo.
But gives you a real tool to use to communicate it.
Yep.
And you go, Wendy, I've heard this before. I actually tell people this all the time. You're not really
but I invented this shtick.
I lie about this constantly. No, I believe it to be true, by the way. Just as a player character and as Kristoff Shindo, I believe wholeheartedly if you whisper Kristoff Shindo's name and you are a dear and true friend to him, he will hear it and come to your aid.
Oh, no. What does that say about Sharinga?
I don't know. I'm assuming...
Dwayne?
Because we saw a portal open at the end of last episode.
Thing is what I meant.
The portal at the end of last episode, I'm assuming there was magical interference, which prevented that from happening.
Oh, that makes sense.
Innately as it does.
Yeah.
Because the name Kristoff Shindo actually is the exact syllable count and mouth sound to travel through the arcane torrent. No matter where you are in the world,
Right.
it permeates and it comes back to mining it.
So she hands you this book and this scroll.
Thank you.
I love when Dwayne just cuts. Back to
Well, we're trying to make our episodes tighter, and I
You're
still got to
right.
do
I'm
your
sorry.
2 X's before we X this episode. So
You're right. I'm a
That's
fucking
true.
prima donna. I'm sorry.
no, I love it. It's my favorite thing about this podcast is your prima donna-ness.
Alex,
I gotta-
yeah.
I'm
I would
also
like
the
some time,
host.
please.
I'm also the host. So yeah, so you guys have a good goodbye. She genuinely, you can tell her, you can see
hug
from
her.
this book. What?
I hug her for sure.
Oh, for sure. And she gives you one of those like weird teacher hugs. Like she's
Yeah.
not like, it's not off-putting by her, but she's definitely like, all right, like this is what.
Yeah, she's got like her lower body pronounced like her. She's
like a church hug.
she's making an L shape with
yeah,
her
it's
body.
a church hug. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
right angle.
Yep. So yeah, she sends you off. And Rowan, what do you want to go to your guild and say?
Oh
how do
yeah,
you
I'll
want to do
definitely
that?
go back and let them know that I'm leaving for a
Okay.
bit.
So you go back to the guild, and Sarah is sitting on the stairs reading a book when you approach.
Sarah, I have to leave for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. You're coming back, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you don't sound super confident in
Well,
that.
I mean, it's rarely our own choice where we go and what we do.
Yes, that's true. You're so powerful. You've defeated a reclaimer. I would hate for you to wander away and never return to the guild.
Look, I'm not the only traveler who hasn't repaid his debt. And I've been searching for a trail to follow again, but I'll never forget the night we met.
Okay. Yeah, alright. Well, I guess be safe and...
Kill the reclaimer, don't have to be safe. I'll be back, bye!
Okay. And she just looks so perplexed by just what has happened. Because that is, like, opposite of the week you guys have just had of, like, talking about the arcane item or the art.
Rowan's not good at goodbyes. There's never been someone to say goodbye to.
That's true. You just bounce out. She's just surprised. She's very put off by you bouncing
Oh,
out after
tell
you
Quincy
talk
I still have a
the
thing
artifacts.
when I get back. There's your hope to hold on to that I'll be back to talk to Quincy. And you, I guess. Bye.
And you bounce out.
So romantic.
Atlas, what do you want to do to say? Do you want to go back to the guild to say goodbye? Do you want to do something else? Like,
Yes, I think accountability is very important, so I will go back to the guild.
okay,
let
so
John
you
know.
go back to the guild and you kind of look around and you don't see John anywhere. And so you go into the sparring arena and you see, from a distance, you see John and he's sparring with 3 human initiates. And at first you're watching and they're kind of like taking swings at him and he's deflecting blows. And he sees you and he says, which I don't remember John's voice, so we're just going to do that all over again. And he says, he looks back at you while deflecting blows. He goes, Atlas, my boy. And then quickly he like smashes those 3 initiates onto the ground and says, we'll pick up in a minute. And he walks over to you and goes, back to train, I see.
Actually, John, I've come to let you know that I will be taking leave for just a little while. The true reason we're even here has not been completed. I have to go back to my home in Oxbane and follow up with something. But I do hope to come back and train in the near future.
Okay, I understand. Every man has his own journey. Or orc in this case.
That's true. Anyway, I just wanted to come and let you know so you didn't wonder why I wasn't had come back or thought I had quit on you for some reason.
That makes sense. I really appreciate you checking in. I'd hate for you to disappear. Especially, you have one of our folks. You're one of our people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will. Wait, can I wear that out of here? Or is there a certain
Absolutely. I
requirements?
insist. In fact, I was going to remind you that you're one of the Red Sun now. And wearing that cape, it's your responsibility to banish demons and evil of the world when you come across it. No, I want you to like respond that you understand that.
Well, I didn't realize how heavy that. I mean, of course, that's naturally just. It just seems so surreal at this point in time. But yeah, absolutely, I'm ready to take up that mantle, and I'll make you proud, John.
Excellent.
It's a literal mantle, just so everyone's on the same page.
A what?
It's a literal mantle.
Like from a fireplace.
I carry it constantly.
No, like a mantle.
Like a
a
mantle.
cloak.
I would rather
like
it be
this
the other.
Cloak.
It's my new shoulder. It's my shoulder, like.
Yeah.
And I'll say, is there any? Do you have any advice as far as? I mean, we've spotted several times. Something I can work on to get better.
He looks at you and he says, I would not give this advice to anyone else, but I'm gonna give it to you. You should care less about what happens to you. You tend to do better when you give in to your anger.
Yeah, I have seen that on occasion, but I don't know. It's just okay. I understood, John.
You move faster. You actually scare me a little when you're angry.
Kristoff as well, based on that vision. So everybody's on the same page.
That makes sense. I just, based on some things that I know, John, currently, I don't know if that will always be the answer in the situations, but I'll make sure I'll use that when it's needed, I suppose.
Use the anger to purge the world of the evil.
Is there some formal like bow or gesture that the Red Sun has?
Because you're both soldiers,
they're doing
essentially.
finger
You're martial fighters. You give each other the wrist handshake, right?
Okay.
That you're from. Everybody's familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
So
So
guys,
I'll put my arm
shake
out
hands.
to let them know that's the end of that comp. Like,
Yep.
I get it, got it.
Yep. And he says, good luck, and I can't wait for you to return and hear of all the evil you've banished.
I will report back of a similar report.
The formal farewell of the Red Sun is, "Oh, John, you old son of a gun, put her there!"
No,
Put
you
her
get
there,
behind
pal.
something and you slowly disappear.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. Like a sunset. Okay, so he
Like
sits
a
on his way.
sunset.
Yep.
The Red Sun sets.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
Okay, so you guys meet back up at the Crimson Salamander to talk. So you guys just ready to bounce out of the city? Sound
I'm
good?
taking one soft biscuit with me.
That's true.
I'll get
Are you-
food
are
for
you
the road.
I'm
Wait,
going to bring him back to Oxbane and be like, "Listen, it's a stale from the ride, but it's still very soft."
You can make them this way, I promise.
I don't
Okay.
recommend it, though.
Perfect. So you guys are gonna head out of town?
Yeah,
Yep.
well, I'm going to get our cart and horse,
Yes.
which is stabled.
He wanted you to leave.
I
Get
did.
my cart-
I wanted you to
my
leave
cart
that.
and horse, which are stabled, and my parking has been validated. We've
has?
established that,
We have established that.
and then we will depart on our horse and cart in the only way we know how, where they take turns driving during the day, I sleep in the back, and then I take cart at night.
So you guys leave the city of Eurie, and the sun is kind of like hot. Not kind of. The sun is directly above you when you're riding out, and Atlas is driving, and Kristoff is in the back, maybe reading his book, doing whatever he wants to do.
Lounging,
And-
generally.
And Atlas, all of a sudden, your wrist just explodes in fire.
Oh,
What in the...
what
And
in
you see the
tarnation!
copper bracelet gone.
What happened?
It's gone. The copper bracelet exploded on your wrist.
Oh, I thought you said the
Oh,
cart.
thank
and somebody
God.
who thought was that poor horse also.
No, just the copper bracelet. It exploded.
And I'll say, were you ever my friend?
It's a friendship bracelet, Atlas. Maybe don't kill me in the future. And I flip the page of my book.
And I'll whip it. Just keep going.
And that is where we're going to end this episode.
That is a note to end on.
Yeah, I like that very much. I was thinking when you said it was friendship bracelets and I knew that the roll was bad, I was like, okay, think. What's it got to do? Why is Atlas not your friend? Oh, because he fucking kills you in the future based on the root of win.
Yeah, so that was a good episode. I think that was a very, like, transitional episode to move on to the next kind of story bit, which I'm excited about. Is there anything you guys want to say? I don't know.
I just want to say...
So we'll be releasing this 2 weeks out from here, so it's going to be in June at some point.
So then I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated in Max Mankind.
Oh yeah, you're the real stars.
And we hope that you liked whatever you got. Like if you got something because you participated in X-Men Con, we also want to thank everyone who donated commissions or donated their merchandise that they put together. We could have, you were a big part of being able to get people to participate. I mean, because we all want to win cool stuff, and you guys have a lot of cool stuff. So thanks to everyone who provided stuff for us.
There's too many to thank here of people that contributed to like prizes for the Max Mankind Drive. To thank you all individually, but I will take the time to individually thank Taringa. Taringa, thank you. And if you're dead, I'm sorry.
No, not in real life.
Dead.
But
Not in real life,
story.
your character. Yeah.
But I'm also sorry if you are.
Oh,
dead.
don't even say it.
That's also
don't
a bummer,
even
but you're
put
not
that in
listening
the
to this.
universe.
Don't even say it. Don't even.
Yeah,
But I am gonna go ahead and roll for Min-Max Mankind, continuing beyond May. Like I
Taking
did
the
the
story
other episode.
beyond the table.
That is going to be a good $16 to whichever charity we decide is getting this money in June. I will not be
Sweetness.
Child's Play. We're going to do some rotations. We might do some votes for our Patreon subscribers to see where that's going to go. But a charity is going to get $16.
And then some.
Yep. So I also, my own little advert, I finally purchased a cantrip candle, and it's the library...
The scriptorium.
Library
Scriptorium.
Torium.
And it smells so good.
It does. I
So
have
good.
one.
Two out of 4 members of the Lawful Stupid crew are currently burning.
No,
That's true.
I have
I'm
2 of them.
smelling it right now. Do you
3
really?
of the Lawful Stupid crew
Yep.
are actively burning a cantrip candle
That's
while
true.
recording this podcast. That's why this podcast episode was so good. You thought, why is the quality so much better than usual?
Yeah.
It's because we're immersed fully
Yeah.
in
That's
scent.
Like,
true.
we get all senses are in.
It's all D&D.
You're gonna love the way.
And that's why the one person who isn't currently burning one had a really bad episode. We're not going to talk about it.
Who is it? We don't know.
That's true. We don't know. And I also want to say, we are Nerdsmith. We're a part of the Nerdsmith network. So if you want other good podcasts and you want to listen to something other than us, which I get it, we don't put out enough episodes. So if you need something to fill some time, go to nerdsmith.org, pick out one of those podcasts. There's a lot of really cool podcasts.
I've been listening to Charm and Trouble because I wish that I could sing like that.
I've been listening to Chaotic Goodness because I like sci-fi sometimes too. When I'm not... So obviously... Best D&D podcast, best high fantasy podcast that exists in the market. We're talking Adventure Zone, we're talking Critical Role,
Lawful Stupid.
We're talking about Lawful Stupid. But we're on the sci-fi tier, separate tier, equally as good, Chaotic Goodness.
And I've been checking out Dungeon Maestro. Man, that guy, Aiden Chan, puts out some of the best music
Yeah, he does.
that
It's
I've ever
super
heard.
good.
It's all D&D related. Most
Yep.
of it's so amazing.
Yeah, and he has actually YouTube. If you go to his YouTube, which you can find on nerdsmith.org, I believe, and he basically has like a theme for every monster in the monster manual, which is super cool. So, yeah, thanks for listening. I can't wait for next week, boys.
Boys!
And
That's
girls.
That's our new sign
And girls. You're all beautiful.
Boy.
Regardless.
And girl. You're all
That's
beautiful.
true. We're inclusive there.
Yeah, y'all.
Yo, folks, people,
Folks, people.
humans.